Welcome to Power to Excel with Pastor Sule Emmanuel. The Word of God is life. The Word of God brings power. The Word of God brings revival. The Word of God is God Himself. Jeremiah 15:16 says, "Thy words were found, and I did eat them, for they were unto me the joy and rejoicing of my heart." Be blessed as you listen to Pastor Sule Emmanuel. Get set for the empowerment of a lifetime.
All right, the second part of ignorance I think we should address is ignorance of what you have. Ignorance of what you have. Don't forget, we said ignorance is broken into 5 parts. And we said the first is ignorance of who you are, and the next one is ignorance of what you have. An undiscovered potential is as good as a useless potential. Or better still, an undiscovered potential is as bad as a useless potential. It is discovery that gives power to potentials. It is discovery that gives power to potentials. Lots of us have great things around us. I mean, instruments that God can use to make us, get out in the limelight, but we don't know them yet. Moses never knew that the rod in his hand was a wonder-working rod. Moses never knew that the rod in his hand was an instrument that could pass the Red Sea. He commonized the rod until God opened his eyes. And there's a certain woman in the book of 2 Kings chapter 4, the widow of the prophet, who never knew that a pot of oil in her house was the instrument of prosperity. She never knew that this pot of oil will make me wealthy and will make me feed nations. Until your eyes are open to truly understand and discover the great things that God has placed around you, you may keep begging for help where there's no help. As a matter of fact, what you need to make you a success is inside you. When God created you, He placed something in there that you need to discover. And as you discover it, you become all that destiny has ordained for you to be. I remember the story of a man who traveled from his city. He wanted to relocate to have a better life. And he sold everything that he had, got a ticket. But the little money left with him, he got biscuits and 2 bottled water. And he entered the ship. While in the ship, he saw all kinds of wealthy people in the ship. So he carried his biscuits, carried his water, entered his own cabin, and shut the door. While he was there, he was surviving on the biscuits, surviving on the water. When it finished, he started starving. And 2 weeks after, 2 weeks, into the flight, into the journey rather, still in the ship, someone came knocking on his cabin, calling for him to come out. But this guy was too weak to open the door. He laid there, hungry, weak, sleepy, not knowing what next to do. And the guys who were knocking the door forced the cabin opened. And when they saw him there, looking tired, looking hungry, starving, they told him, "Young man, it's time for you to come for your final arrival meal. It's time for the final meal in this journey. Very soon we are arriving at our destination." And the man was shocked hearing the word final arrival meal. And he said, "Sorry, I've not had any meal all through. I've just been here all by myself." And the captain said, "Can we see your ticket?" And they looked at this man's ticket and they were surprised. The ticket he bought qualified him to get 3 meals every day for 2 weeks. But this guy did not know the nature of his ticket. Now this news they were telling him was shocking to him. He was too shocked, he was too tired, he was too disappointed to react. Even if they give him all the food to eat now, it doesn't cover up for all he had lost. He had a ticket that could survive him through life, but he did not know the power of the ticket. So he suffered all through the journey. Many of us are like this man. We are born crying. We live suffering, and we die disappointed. Born crying. Live all through your life suffering, not knowing what God has placed around you to make you a world-class figure, not knowing what God has placed around you to make you a sought-after person. Born crying, live suffering, and die disappointed. The question I want to ask you today, do you know those money-making opportunities that God has placed around you? Have you truly discovered the money-making skills that you were created with? Have you truly identified the money-making relationships that God has placed around you? Because there are people around you, if only your eyes are open to see that these guys around me are potential wealth, you would maximize the relationships. until your eyes are opened to know what God has placed around you, you remain average. You remain average. Ignorance of what you have is another reason why people are poor, people are stagnated, and people are average. I believe you've been greatly empowered, you've been greatly blessed by what we shared today. Please, I'd like you to send your comments, send your questions, in case there's something you want us to handle, something you want us to treat, an issue, a topical issue, something bothering you that you'd like us to shed light on, and by the Spirit of God's wisdom, able to give you insight into it, then please send us your questions, send us your comments, send us your observation, and we'll be most honored and delighted to handle them on this platform. Don't forget, it's been Power to Excel Brokers with Pastor Sule Emmanuel of Omega Fire Ministry, South Africa. I look forward to seeing you in the next broadcast. God bless you.